issue. It's still a developing one. But I wanted just to also rope you in, Makale Mulu, on this particular issue of developing a new vision for Kenya towards a first world nation, briefly. If you may just comment on it before we buckle down to some politics as well. This was launched yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, and strategic guidelines for long-term national transformation. Why do we need this one? We are yet to see the full scope and the fruition of the Vision 2030.
I think generally, it's important we have a new vision because the Vision 2030 is closing another four years. You know, 2030 is just 4 years from today.
Indeed.
And now that the closure of that vision will be coming very soon, it's important we start thinking about a new vision as a nation. And that's why yesterday you saw the president commission that what I would call a brief fashion of a vision. The details have not been worked, but just a very high level document indicating what areas we need to look at as we push Kenya to become a first world country. They call it a first class country.
A first world nation.
Yeah, a first world nation, yeah. So what has happened is that I've looked at both documents, and like when you look at the Vision 2030, there are 3 pillars: the economic pillar, social pillar, and the political pillar. When you look at the new document, it talks about agricultural development as a pillar, industrialization as a pillar, and then technology and innovation as a 3rd pillar. So anything else becomes an enabler. And we were saying, when you look at the Vision 2030, it was very clear when it comes to economic pillar, what were the targets? The target was to grow the economy by about 10% annually for the period of the vision, which was about, because it started 2008, about 22 years. And that was to be achieved by manufacturing, contributing about 15% annually, agriculture about 70%, and there are quite a number of other targets under the economic pillar. Now, when it comes to the social pillar, the discussion was that we are going to have a first-class education system, first-class health system, under the social pillar now. And what that means is then once you achieve that, then you're able to move to wherever you wanted to go. Because the vision was to move Kenya from a low-income country to a middle-level income country. As at now, we have been moved to the middle level, but the lower level, not where we wanted to be. Now, when you go to the political pillar then, which discuss basically governance issues, you are supposed to have a democratically elected government, people-centered government, and now you bring the issues of our values, where as a country we have very clear values as stipulated in our constitution. Now, the question is, before we think about the new vision, have we looked at where we are with the 2030 vision?
Indeed, that's the question.
And what challenges we have faced, and on the basis of lessons learned from the challenges faced, have we inputted the lessons learned into the new vision, so that we don't get a repeat of the same challenges
we had? Was
lucky enough, the leadership and development of the vision 2030 was Minister Anyang' Nyong'o, who is now the governor of Kisumu. The leader in this new one is Anyang' Nyong'o, who is the governor of Kisumu. Which means when he sits there, he can easily tell us where the gaps are. And when you look at the language use, you realize that there isn't much in terms of difference in terms of language. So to me, I think that's what I said in the morning, that there are some fundamental issues we must address as a nation for us to move to a first class nation. And quickly, just by listing, not explaining, the issue of unemployment. This country faces a lot of unemployment, and the few Kenyans who claim to have a job are in the informal sector. You know, when you're in the informal sector, it's not a clearly structured employment which could generate revenue for the country and also. So the thing is, we need to think about why have we not achieved higher levels of formalized employment. The other matter which is critical is the matter of public debt. With the levels of public debt as a nation where we are today, are we able to achieve that first class with the level of debt we have? And more likely the answer is yes, no. So we need to have a very clear strategy on how do we address issues of public debt so that we are within limits which can allow a bigger fiscal space to implement. The third matter is the matter we have just discussed, the issue of corruption. Countries which claim to be first-class countries, the levels of corruption are not as high as we have. So it means we must discuss corruption as a country and say, where are we?
Yeah.
Issues of attitude, our basic values as a country.
Yes.
You know, every time you travel, and me and Kaluma, we traveled widely. There's some countries you get to, you know, as we are used to littering our streets and all over. There are countries you get to, you look at the streets, and even after you have taken your street from the cover, it forces you to carry it all the way to look for a dustbin somewhere because you can't litter.
Yes.
In this country, the street lights are showing it is red, and you see all of us crossing. We need to get to a situation where, even if it is midnight, and you find those street lights showing red, you stop and wait for the green.
Public order.
Something called basics.
Yes, indeed.
So we have a lot of things we are not getting right, and that's what I'm saying. It's good to have a new vision. But can we achieve it without these fundamentals being sorted out? And there are very many. Look at the cost of energy in this country. For how long have we been talking about cost of energy, which makes production very expensive? For a long, long time. So it means somebody must sit and say, how do we bring down the cost of energy so that we make our goods competitive? Internally, that is domestically, and externally. Because you can't compete with other countries if their cost of production is low, because it makes your goods expensive.
Indeed.
So these are the issues. And I hope that we will engage in a serious national conversation through public participation so that we are able to push this new vision. The other important matter on this vision, this is a vision for Kenya. It is not a vision for a coalition party or an individual party. So the development of this new vision must be inclusive, so that when I become the president, I don't come and say this was not my vision. When Kaluma becomes the president, he does come and say I have to set my new vision, so that we embrace the vision as Kenyans, so that even when there is a regime change, the regimes are guided by this development blueprint.
Right, but the question also is, even as maybe we're just bringing a close to that particular conversation, where is the voice of the citizen when we are crafting this, first world nation vision and documents? How are we consulting also the citizens so that at least we are part and parcel of this particular vision together? We have been consulted. We always see, this unleashing of new visions, new documents, new plans without any citizenry participation.
That's one of the major gaps. If you look at the team,
yes,
because actually Nyong mentioned the team.
Yes.
Professor Karuti Karinga, Professor Nyong himself, and a few university lecturers. They were all dons. Who moves this economy? If we talk about manufacturing, we need the owners of factories and enterprises in
Kenya
that
Association of Manufacturers,
so that they are on the table.
Yes, they should be on the table.
When you talk about agriculture, where are the key players in that sector? When you talk about tourism, so we are saying we would rather take a longer time, but bring everybody onto the table.
So we have a multi-sectoral voices.
Exactly. So we need more inclusion, so that it's a document for all of us, and then we can move it forward.
Indeed.
But it's a very good idea. As an economist, that's something you cannot avoid to do. We say if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Indeed.
So for us to prosper as a country, we must get these documents ready,
all right,
and then implement.
So China, they have a vision casting of over 100 years. I wonder what is the vision of this particular document?
They have not yet, but there could be a 30, 40 years. They have not said, it's not stated in the document.
It's not stated completely.
It's just a new vision. And Nyong did indicate that now more meat will be put into it through public participation, so that get more people.
Okay. So there is room for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was just a sketch of
fantastic.
What those.
Yeah, Dibal, allow me only